a realm of spirit, of sight and sound and mind. Your radio is a cosmic doorway, and your psyche begins to spark. When you tune in to Gary and the Sun and Night Dreams After Dark.
Do you have a paranormal story you want to share on Night Dreams Talk Radio? You could be a guest. Email us at nightdreamstalkradio@gmail.com.
You can advertise your business on Night Dreams Talk Radio, and you will be heard worldwide. Why not contact us at nightdreamstalkradio@gmail.com. You're listening to Night Dreams Talk Radio After Dark with our host, Gary Anderson.
And here I am. James, you still there?
Oh, yeah, I'm still here.
Well, you have some great questions to ask our guests.
Yeah, I do. Lon, there's been a lot of reports of these other like variations on Bigfoot, like a bat squatch and a sheep squatch and other things like that. What have you come across in your research or reports that you've have gotten?
Well, as far as the bat squatch, I mean, that could have, these cases have been coming out of southern Wisconsin for the most part and northern Illinois. Now, we did receive a case last year in Woodstock, Illinois, of a Bigfoot-like creature. I mean, large size, hairy hominid that actually had wings. And this thing had been seen at least twice. We got a third report. It did seem credible to a point, but we did put it into the mix. But this was during the wintertime, and these witnesses were very credible, and basically they saw what looked like the Bigfoot creature crossing a road that had structures on its back that resembled wings. Now, is that a bat squatch or whatever? I suppose. I mean, Linda Godfrey first wrote about what she called the bat squatch that had been seen in Wisconsin. So, I don't know. I mean, there are other beings that have been reported to me that have wings, some big, some small, but as to what they really are, we really don't know. But, yeah, we do get a lot of strange reports of winged beings.
I've heard some myself. Now, the Dogman reports, along with, are they dogmen? Are they werewolves? Are they a different breed? What's your reports or your information or your thoughts on those?
Well, here in Pennsylvania, we have been investigating these upright canine beings, bipedal beings that they're huge. I mean, these are huge animals. around 2014, my associate Butch Bukowski and I had started getting these sighting reports in central Pennsylvania, extending from the Allegheny State Forest southeast into York and Lancaster County, close to the border of Maryland. So it's a pretty decent sized area. But there were certain areas that had high concentrations of these sightings as well. And for the most part, the descriptions were, just think of the Underworld series, the werewolves or the lichens in the Underworld series. That's what people were describing practically. These beings were anywhere from 8, 9, 10 foot tall. They were bipedal with hocked legs for the most part. Some had the straight legs, muscular legs, very tapered waist, heavy chest. Some had sparse hair. Some had a lot of hair. The head of a wolf or a German Shepherd-like dog. Some had real heavy manes on them, and for the most part, their eyes were like a yellowish color. And they had arms that ended in claws. And people would actually walk up to these things. They very rarely gave ground. They stood where they were. We've had hunters even were armed that refused to even take a shot at this thing because they didn't know what was going to happen. They would just literally just slowly back up and get away. The aggression, there hasn't been much aggression demonstrated by these beings. There was a case recently up in Center County, Pennsylvania, at Rothrock State Park, where 3 couples had encountered during the day one of these large upright canines. And when one of the women screamed, this thing took a few steps forward, like an aggressive move, but it didn't attack them. But, that's kind of what we're getting. Now, we've also had canine-like beings, quadrupeds, that reminded people in body style that of a hyena, but a hyena that had a head of a wolf. And but the body style was very similar to a human as far as musculature and such. And I just consider those as dogmen. The upright canines, I don't like really calling them dogmen. I just call them the upright canines. There do seem to be different varieties in different parts of the country. But like I said, here in Pennsylvania, those are the 2 types that we're running up to. So at this point now, we personally have, and there have been some historical sightings as well. But at this point, we have, and I kind of lose count. There was about 26 reports since 2014. So there's quite a lot of activity. Yeah.
Oh, I guess so. What other cryptids that are, oddball or something different that you're getting reports on that a lot of people haven't heard of?
Well, of course, here in Pennsylvania, we've had a lot of strange winged beings. For years, I've been investigating a phenomena that I call a manta ray cryptid, or a flying being that kind of looks like a manta ray, quite frankly. A manta ray that swims in the water, but these fly. And I've had reports throughout the country, but most of the reports have been in the West Virginia area, and had a couple down in Texas. But they're interesting because when they fly, they undulate like an actual manta ray. They vary in sizes anywhere from 5-6 foot across to a couple feet across. They're usually gray in color. Some are translucent. I think there's something other than just being a flesh and blood being. I think these are possibly bio type craft to some degree. They may be UFO, but they're usually reported close to water as well. There's usually some type of body of water or a large river nearby when these are seen. So this is something I've been working on for the past decade, collecting reports on. Of course, we have other winged beings. We have had something here where I'm at in Adams in York County that I call the Conewaga Phantom. I had an encounter back in '88 with this thing. It's described very similar to what people are seeing in Chicago, with the red eyes and the bat-like wings. It's been seen on several occasions along the creek from Adams County east into the Susquehanna River, where it empties into the Susquehanna in York County. So, I think the last sighting that was reported to me was 3 or 4 years ago. But that's something else that people have been seeing. So, Pennsylvania is kind of an oddball state because there's a lot of different things that are reported. And, of course, Stan Gordon has been reporting phenomena here in Pennsylvania for almost 50 years. And, he has reported a lot of strange activity, especially along the Chestnut Ridge from Westmoreland County down south into West Virginia. So there's been everything from UFO to possible connection with Bigfoot, large cat sightings, alien sightings, strange paranormal phenomena, unexplained beings. So it kind of runs the gamut in the state.
Yeah, I guess it does. How about any reports, probably not Pennsylvania, but of other living dinosaurs? We've been hearing a lot of reports about those, too, like little T-Rexes or something like that. Surely you get reports on those also.
Yeah, most of those I have received from the southern Texas area between San Antonio and the Rio Grande. I don't know what it is about that area. It's a little further south into the plains from the hill country area, but there have been these small T-Rex type beings seen. I think I have probably received, 3 reports over the years. It hasn't been a whole lot. They're described as anywhere from a couple foot tall to the size of a road runner, but they are actually small T-Rex shaped like dinosaurs. I mean, that's the best people explain what it looks like. I've never gotten a picture of it. But I do have people very credible people that have seen this thing.
Wow.
Yeah, of
we've
course
heard
you got the winged
things.
pterosaurs, and they look like pterodactyls or pterosaurs or pterodons. That phenomenon is pretty well spread out. The most famous case, I imagine, was the Van Meter visitor in Van Meter, Iowa. That was described as being a pterodon. I have received sightings through the Southwest into Texas, and of course in Illinois and Indiana there have been sightings as well of these things. So, this is something else. I mean, is it a relic or is it something, an interdimensional type winged being? I mean, I don't know.
Hey, Lon, I will say this. One of my regular guests, Joe Taylor, who runs the museum in Mount Blanco, he goes out and looks for dinosaur bones. And one of the richest areas in this country is Texas for dinosaur bones. I mean, that and not just dinosaur, there's camel, all kinds of these things that all of a sudden, just like he said, were covered like with a mud silt and after they died or maybe caused their death. But there's been a lot of reports of these, like T-Rexes, not just in our country, but, he was